Hey all, so this is War 11 against LVT. We have some friends on the other side, and so we were really trying to do our best on this one. Additionally, this is going to be a bit of a break from the Carl Wars because I am back on Reed and Doom and She-Hulk. I was really happy to be able to bring her. She is subdue, and I took her to rank 4 before the season, in part because of that. But we are starting with a pretty bog standard Mordo fight here for Doom. All of those staggers triggering against his power gains are just going to give us a ton of power. We get into the cycle, and this is basically over. I go ahead and do the normal thing to get back up to 2 bars of power here. I could have immediately thrown that special 2, and the fight almost certainly would have been over. But I have a bit of a habit of not blasting unblockable specials at Mordo just in case I'm wrong about him having had enough time to get his block up for blocking unblockables. And so we take advantage of the fact that Doom gains the power gain for himself whenever he nullifies one off the opponent and throw a second special 3 and it's good to go. So against Killmonger here, what we're going to do is hopefully bait a heavy right away, counter it with our own heavy to get the armor break up, and then just make sure to keep the armor break up the whole time, and there's not going to be a whole lot happening here. So there we go. Immediately get an armor break. Now I'm just treating this as a Doom fight where I'm going for a special 3, and along the way, I'll throw some more heavies. Because this is meant more as a path split than as an actual threat. Now that we have answered it and we've used one character that can take both, honestly, there's not really a whole lot to this Killmonger. That doesn't make it a bad placement because a lot of the characters that you would use for that Mordo, science characters, would not be able to take this Killmonger, so it makes sense, but Doom and Reed is extremely good for both of them, which is why I'm over here. So there we go. We're getting up to the special 2 via the Doom cycle. We're going to throw it, and the fight is over. So, moving on, our next fight is going to be on node 23. I haven't taken a ton of this season. I think I had a couple early ones. I remember an Apocalypse on here that was definitely interesting. But we're just going to be doing this with Reed. Spider-Man 2099 can also do this. A few others can. But the reason I like Reed so much for it is that a lot of the best placements here are here because you just assume that the defender is going to get to a special 2. And for a lot of them, that's really scary. It's going to be unblockable due to bubble shield. There's going to be some threat to it. And what Reed is going to say is just very simply, okay, well, it's going to do less damage at the offset because of careful study. And if it hits me, then it's just going to do even less damage the next time. So that's exactly what we're expecting here. There's the special 2. The end does clip us. Cool. Doesn't matter. We still take barely any damage. It's giving us power by hitting us, which is allowing us to continue to ramp. And we're now at 2 of those careful study debuffs. So if he throws another special 3, they would instantly be converted into a passive, and the special would do 75% less damage even before accounting for all the weakness effects that we would have from inequity. But he's not even going to get there because as soon as we fully ramp from him hitting us, we are reversing his power gain, and we basically stop having to worry about Mangog entirely. Really, really strong counter for that node. Speaking of really, really strong counters, She-Hulk against a science defender on this particular node is hilarious. Because reminder that duped She-Hulk has a chance to nullify on every hit, to purify a debuff on every hit when facing a science champion. And that chance to purify does not require her to actually have a debuff active on her. You can see that's why we're going unblockable, because the Purify keeps triggering even when we don't have a debuff. So that's just going to mean that we are constantly unblockable. Additionally, because this She-Hulk is Sig 140 and her chance to purify is so high, we spend a good chunk of this fight actually being able to block, despite I-Bomb being a good placement here, precisely because he makes that so difficult. I would like to back him up a little bit more, because evading the Pillbug of Death at the wall is not my favorite thing to do. But you can see how this is just a really, really clean counter, especially with the Mr. Fantastic synergy for extra damage when the power stings. She-Hulk against big, nasty XL Science Defenders is just one of my favorite things. So good. So, we move on, go ahead, use an energy refill here, because I was trying to make sure that people were clear. Gonna take this War Machine. Now, my Alliance member and leader, Rob Hop, also in my battle group, took this last war. And I told him exactly how to play it, and he did a good job of it, and he got through it. And so I just figured that's how I was going to play it. We're going to do a 5-hit right here. We're going to bait a bit. And then we are going to try and push him to the special 2. Except for some reason, I just stopped in the middle of that combo. I have no idea why. Because the point is, again, a reminder to use Flourish to push War Machine to a special 2. Because if he throws a special 1, he's going to be unblockable for the entire rest of the fight against Doom. It's just done. It's locked. That's what's going to happen. And so the beginning of the fight went perfectly, and then, I don't know, I just stopped that combo in the middle of it. I can't explain it. Anyway, I immediately got my butt kicked for messing up, which is exactly what I would have expected. We eat 2 special 2s and a full combo to build power. But now we're into the Doom cycle, and this shows why this is actually a good counter. Because if we had done what I originally intended to do, and what Rob did last war, then this would have been what the fight looked like a lot sooner, and we'd be sitting at like 90-95% health. So, if you take that, maybe go check out Rob's channel and see how he did it, and don't do it the way I just did it. And or just finish your combo. I set it up and messed it up. Anyway, so She-Hulk here is obviously cleaning up this Juggernaut. We had a really unfortunate death where somebody got parried. And getting parried by a big Juggernaut with a bunch of unstoppables is definitely a way to die. Thankfully, She-Hulk is really, really good for this, and is just going to clean it up really nicely for us. The power stings, obviously, because they're passive, stick even through Mighty Charge. If he goes unstoppable, the way She-Hulk's heavy works uniquely is going to allow us to throw a heavy into it regardless. We're going to have plenty of non-damaging debuffs. This is just a super easy fight, and then boom. Love that ending with the power stings. Very simple. So we move on now to this Doctor Doom here. Reed versus Doom is a fantastic matchup anywhere. However, I do remember this one being particularly interesting. I had not had coffee on Sunday morning, and you're going to see a whole lot of him just catching me off guard with exactly when he charges in. That is not the last time we get eaten by a heavy. Or sorry, we eat a heavy after also getting hit. Like, this stuff is all fine. The specials are completely safe because we are controlling Mystic Dispersion enough. See there, that light catches me off guard. He catches me again. I don't know what's happening here. Like, his AI is being a little bit weird, but not that weird. I think I was just sleepy, honestly. Thankfully, Reed vs. Doom is a really, really good matchup, and I'm doing a great job of proving that to you all here. We are finally fully ramped here. He has the Careful Study passive for the special 1, and we have 3 stacks each of our pre-fight debuffs, so he's barely gaining any power when we hit him. See, there's another one. I don't know. Something about his medium attacks felt completely out of left field to me. But yeah, we're fully ramped. We're building up to our special 3. We're doing it faster than normal because of the Careful Study passive. This is going to do a pretty sizable amount of damage given how much armor Doom has. Going to give us a huge fury from all the debuffs on him. And then we're going to be able to close this out. This is also going to boost our power stings. You're going to see one here in a second. See, there you go. 20,000, very nice. That looks a lot like what She-Hulk was able to do against Juggernaut, and she obviously is meant to hit a bit harder. And boom, finish it off with a special 1. Not that I need to, there's only one fight left on the map. I don't need max charges, but it's a good habit to be in. And now we move on to the boss. I will admit my first choice for this boss is Spider-Man 2099 with the Anti-Venom synergy. That cleans this up really, really nicely. You mainly do ruptures through block, you get an exhaustion early, hold on to it for the whole fight, never have to worry about Wrath, Despair takes care of the healing. It's great. We couldn't really find room for one on a path. And I'm sure that was intentional as far as LVT making pathing difficult for Spider-Man 2099. And that's why we have Jen here. Now, I would never take this fight without the Mr. Fantastic synergy. Honestly, it's just... the damage is tricky. The plan for this fight is spam special 1 until he's to about 40%, because the exhaustion is going to limit how many times we have to deal with Wrath of Tanarak. And then after that, special 2 to keep the Petrify up, because I know I'm not going to hold on to these pre-fights from Reed. That's totally fine. And the fact that she is Subdue is going to periodically clear the buffs on him, so we don't really have to worry about Opportunist. So I'm not worried about dying, honestly. I have an indestructible boost. I'm prepared to push him red if need be. I would prefer not to, since that means more Wrath of Tanarak, and that's going to slow us down. The main worry is damage, because Sasquatch is an extremely beefy boy. And while Jen is good against big beefy boys here, we do have the general problem that because his special 1 is not particularly easy to punish, we're going to have trouble hitting him enough to keep our furies up and basically keeping a good tempo. It's not impossible, but it is very difficult. And so we are going to have to worry about damage, like I said. I think if I take this fight again in the future, I am going to actually spend the units to spec into Resonate, because if I had done that, then I would be periodically applying weaknesses. The weaknesses don't matter at all, except that they are debuffs, and then I would be able to basically guarantee 3 power stings every time he throws a special. And if every time he throws a special, I have 3 power stings up on him, even with Furies falling off, that's probably a minimum of 10,000, 12,000 more. And when you're dealing with somebody who has around 800,000 health, periodic triggers for 10 to 12,000 help a lot. So, gonna keep that in mind in the future. But for now, let's focus on this exact fight. Like I said, the plan was special 1 until right about now, then start building to the special 2 so that his regen isn't a problem. Now, it would be nice to land crits on the special 2 so that we get some power back, but I'm not expecting it. Additionally, just with the way Wrath of Tanarak works, I'm trying to hold on to this because I know if I throw it now, it's going to do about half of the total damage. We unfortunately did get slightly unlucky here, and that he only went into Wrath on his 12th Rage stack. That's not ideal. It's a lot of protection on the way up, which limits the damage. It is also a very long Wrath, which also limits the damage. We lost a lot of time there. But the good news is we have the Petrify up. We've picked up another bar of power here. We can push him back up to another special 2 and keep the Petrify. We're also not having great Fury RNG, right? Like, we went a pretty long stretch there without one, and there I make an actual mistake. That was not supposed to be a special 2. I misjudged my power. Maybe that was from playing Reed on the fight before, where he is not only a rank 5, his SIG also gives him extra power gain. And so I threw a special 1 instead of a special 2. Not cool. Because the special 2 would have benefited from a power back, gotten me close to the next one, definitely would have helped. The special 1 did not. Additionally, the special 1 means I had a lot more time with him healing instead of it being shut down entirely. And it didn't prevent him going into Wrath anyway. So, yeah, if I had played this again, I definitely would have avoided that one special 1 there, and I think we'd be doing better on time, because this is getting a little bit sketchy here. I am fully aware. But, again, being able to clear the debuffs, clear the buffs, and prevent opportunists from just eating us alive on block is extremely helpful. That is what's keeping us alive here. I am just trying to rush to this special 2 here. I know that I am cutting it a bit close. There he goes. I'm going to go ahead and throw this. We can afford to be aggressive with the special 2 as a reminder because it also reverses Mystic Dispersion. And there we go. Literally less than 10 seconds left. Like I said, if I take this again for some reason, if that's what the map forces us to do, I'm speccing into Resonate so I don't have to take chances. I think if I had just pushed literally one more hit to that special 2 instead of the special 1, we would have had a fair amount more time left, but I definitely did cut it a little bit close, and that wasn't pleasant. But we did put up another 164 in BG3 this war. That one Juggernaut you saw was the one death we had, and we did win for SSx as an alliance. We put up, I think we only died 3 times, and I think that was 3 164s, actually. Because I don't remember anybody celebrating a donut, so yeah, that must have been what it was. But yeah, well played to LVT, and we'll catch y'all again soon. This victory probably does mean we're locked in Masters. I think the math has been done and nobody can pass us. And if we win this next war, maybe we get top 10. It's not a sure thing, but the odds are decent. And as always, we're going to head into every war trying to win. So here's hoping we do. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this. It was nice to dust off She-Hulk. And until next time, thanks so much for watching, and take care.